It takes courage, and it shows great promise for the adults you will become. And I just want to remind you and your parents that you don't have to wait until you fear your school closing to come and talk at a Board of Ed meeting. We hold meetings twice a month. We take public comment at all of them, and you are always welcome, and your concerns, whether small or large, your praise, whether small or large, is welcome, and we want to hear it. So next time, don't wait until you think you're out of a school to come talk to us.
All right.
Good point.
Good point. All right, so we did have, as we do have still, some more presentations to make. How we were going to leave for the latter part of our meeting to reintroduce or call out the names of the people who missed their opportunity to speak before. But I think just in order to convenience them and everyone else who is here to hear them speak, I figured we take this part now because the rest of it is the budget, and a lot of you may not be so interested. So we're going to take that part second. So we're going to continue right now with the...
Everyone should be interested in the budget. Most important thing we talk about.
Well, that's what they just want to make it happen. They expect us to make it happen. They don't care about the
I know.
details.
Are you going to reread the intro?
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. The district has been in receipt of an order of protection issued by a Mount Vernon judge against a trustee in connection with an incident involving a community member. We have reviewed the order, and on the advice of the issuing judge, we contacted the Westchester County District Attorney's Office to discuss the matter with the ADA involved in the pending action. We have been advised that due to the public nature of the board meeting and the fact that both individuals involved in the incident have a right to attend tonight's meeting, therefore, it is not a violation of the order of protection for both individuals to attend the board meeting, since the complaining witness is doing so voluntarily. All members of the public are asked to maintain appropriate decorum throughout tonight's meeting. Anyone who fails to comply with this expected code of conduct will be removed from the premises. As always, speakers must register in advance by no later than 4 p.m. on the date of the meeting to speak at a meeting by contacting myself, the district clerk, here in person at 165 North Columbus Avenue, Mount Vernon, by phone at 914-665-5235, or via email at rmccormick@mtvernoncsd.org. The board welcomes all respectful comment, whether praise or criticism. However, identifying and criticizing specific student, parent, teacher, administrator, or other Mount Vernon education official or employee is strictly prohibited. Such complaints must be presented and addressed through the proper administrative channels. Each speaker is allotted 3 minutes, with up to 1 additional minute to be used for the speaker to summarize and conclude their remarks. If appropriate, board trustees and/or the superintendent or his staff member designee may immediately respond to speaker's remarks. Our first speaker tonight is Samuel L. Rivers.
And before we start, I just want to make one more comment because of the extraordinary amount of work that we have tonight, including the budget and executive session, and there's a lot of speakers signed up. We will be very strict with the time frame, so just acknowledge that you have 3 minutes with a minute to wrap up, making it 4 minutes in total. I will be stopping speakers at the 4-minute mark. So please try to conclude your comments or bring them to a conclusion after the 3-minute mark, and you have a minute to do so. Thank you very much. First speaker, Mr. Rivers. Is Mr. Rivers here? Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, members of the board. The reason I'm here tonight is very, very simple. As everyone's probably seen the videos on television, I was attacked by a school board trustee minding my own business. So we're here tonight, in light of that trustee's arrest and arraignment, to call on the board to take action, because there is provisions in your policy, to remove trustee McDowell from the board immediately. He does not no longer possesses the moral fiber to continue representing this board in a positive light. Actually become a very big distraction. Through the course of my investigation, we started investigating the players who are involved in this re-election. And we found some interesting things, and I brought documents to hand up to the board. We have the pastor of Mr. McDowell's church is also a school district employee as well as several of his family members registered to vote at an address where they do not live. It's a very big problem. Voter fraud has been covered. The president talks about it every day. I'm not sure if this address was used in obtaining any benefit from the district, whether choices of schools or any type of financial aid. But I've also written a letter to the IRS asking to remove that institution's 501c3 status for meddling in politics, a violation of IRS Treasury rules. Here I have 11 copies I would like to hand up to the board. It has all the detailed information. We also have another member of the clergy who claims to pay taxes, and I registered his address. He doesn't own the house. Actually, that house is on the market for $575,000. So I'm asking that we investigate everyone that are on our voter rolls. We have an election coming up. Voter fraud was rampant in the 2012 election. We have institutions in this city that are busing in people illegally from outside the city to vote in the elections. So I do ask the board to take action, especially in removing Trustee McDowell from the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rivers. Next speaker.
Deborah Graves.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Hamilton. I'm Deborah Graves. I reside at 321 South 10th Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. I'm a parent. I'm a very concerned parent. I went to our lovely, powerful parent workshop this past Saturday. I was disappointed. I'm not going to go into detail and tell you why. I'm an old parent. We only had one young parent and another young man and another senior parent like me. This is coming from our beautification. And we get the calls from our clerk. What do we do to bring the parents out so they can be concerned? That's enough of that. I walk around in my high schools, I walk around in the elementary schools, I walk around in the middle schools. My concern is my child is in the 9th grade. She came a long ways. She came a long ways, just like our Mandela program, 29 months in diapers. But I'm in the high school now, and she's in the high school. I questioned my principal. I talked to the teachers. I peeped in the rooms. I know about our professionals, our teachers doing the best they can. Our students are doing the best they can. But when children are in a class and don't have regular certified teachers and too many subs, I'm concerned. My child is concerned. Her peers are concerned. I get involved in Brothers Keepers in the community. I've been to our presentation for 2020. It's a lot going on. But I know now this is the end of the school year. Teachers are, and I call it an active retirement door. And if there's a package, we have to refill. So I don't want my 10th grader to be at the high school at California and have many subs because she might not get a science teacher, a math teacher, might not get a good health teacher because she'll never had health. Never. So I'm concerned. And I told the principal I'm concerned. And he appreciated me coming in. Our PTA meeting is Thursday night. I can't let all of this out at the choir. We only have a choir of parents that come. So that's my concern. So board members, for your outgoing employees. And another thing, I was at the high school. What do the high school grounds have to do when we get a bad storm with water? It was a lake up there. Do we have wells in the grounds that we have to put big barrels in? If I'm doing my driveway, who would do that? Is it on us or is it on the city? I'll come back again. Thank
I'll address the water situation since that's much shorter, and the superintendent can address the substitutes and the faculty over at the schools. Yes, at the high school, in front of the annex building on the lawn, there is a small lake there, and we will be addressing that. We'll be tying in one of the storm drainage systems to another location where the water's pooling. And then also in the teacher's parking lot to the north of the building, there is a sewer there, or storm drain, I should say, that is always backing up on us. And so we've addressed it many times, but I think that the clog is much further down the line than we can reach with our own equipment. So we are contacting the city, I believe, to help us out with their sewer trucks to get into that. Is Mr. Policio here tonight? Mr. Policio, can you add to that?
Yes, hi, good evening. In fact, today I spoke to the commissioner of DPW because it backed up again. So we've gone